Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada. Today is Friday, the 18th of February, or the 18th of January, in the 10th year of Chongluguk. So let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Chariot, Kyumbe, Adu. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가전맨세 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 찬조 이사인 전주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 4. Our family, the owner of Chongluguk, pledges to build the universal family encompassing heaven and earth, which is the Heavenly Parent's ideal of creation, and perfect the world of freedom, peace, unity, and happiness by centering on true love. Reverend Kenji Watanabe, if you could offer the opening prayer, please.
Please join me in prayer. Dearest Heavenly Parent and victorious beloved true parents of heaven and humankind, today is the 18th of the first month, Chongluguk year 10. So we gather together as the brothers and sisters of the Oceanian family. We're so grateful that the everyday spiritual nourishment coming from heaven, the centering on the Reverend Yutaka. And we are also so grateful that true parents are directly guiding us this time and showing us the great hope, not only for us, but also for the whole humanity. Now, Heavenly Parents, you are along the cherished hope as the one family under God gonna be really realized further substantially in this by 2027, and we are 100% the convinced for that, and yet we are fulfill our portion of responsibility as the Heavenly Tribal Messiahs and the unification members of the Heavenly Parents Holy Community, which are supposed to embrace the all people, Heavenly Parent, true parents of heaven and humankind. Let us open up our heart this morning to receive the heavenly guidance through the Reverend Yutaka, and let us have the new the resolution, new determination, and new pledge in front of you, to harvest the today's activities that you already prepare for us. And I would like to offer the thankful heart to prepare for the morning fundoke this morning. I report all those things in the name of Kenji Watanabe, in the name of Blessed Family, on behalf of the all brothers and sisters gathering together online. Aju.
Aju. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and let's give a warm welcome, as always, to Reverend Yutaka as he shares this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining this morning fundoke. This morning is also the beautiful day. How are you? Did you take a rest well? How your morning is happy and fresh moment? Today, in the beginning of heart is very important. The feeling. Sometimes really we feel the strong inspiration from God, but sometimes some different feeling come. So how we can be sensitive, we can stay together with our Heavenly Parents to feel, even comfort, give the energy. If Heavenly Parents no power, we have to give the power, right? So today also we put our Chonson in the heart and let's create the great, beautiful day. So thank you very much joining for this morning fundoke. So yesterday we share about the story update about the victory celebration and all world summit cases. So I think when you attended the all program of the world summit, you had many realization So through breakout session, we could hear your sharing and your understanding also. So now because of COVID cases, it was really not easy situation, but we could see because Trumada's absolute subject initiative, environment will be changing. So how much central figures determination and commitment is important. When we see that Trumada, even externally, many situations is happening and really looks like difficult, but mother never change. Once mother stand and determine with through a heavenly parents, environment will be changed, not mother will be changed. So that kind of really standing the absolute subject position, then absolute object partner, absolute object environment will appear. So this is really, we could learn those things. So this time, many head of states attended this World Summit. So yes, the victory celebration time also, Dr. Im mentioned, the person who sent the message is around the 85 formal and current head of states. And among them, the 25 people are the current head of states. So when we see this one, substantially, those nations is already attended the supporting Trumada, because current head of states is not just the individual position. Formal, maybe they have many kind of purpose or many kind of situation, but current cases, they cannot decide, they cannot do whatever they want. They are already representative of representing the nation, and they supported our Trumada. So already these things was very different things. So before 2020, Trumada organized the World Summit in each region or each nation. So do you know what was difficulty when Trumada organized the summit in each nation? One of the difficulty, can you guess? When Trumada organized, for example, Asia, MADA organized the summit in Nepal, Cambodia, Palau, and also Sao Tome Principe, or many nations Trumada organized. But there was also difficult things. When Trumada approached and visited the nation, the one things of the difficulty is about the protocol. Even big nation or even small nation, there is the protocol. There is a national tradition, there is national order, and even any kind of guest, they have to follow the protocol. That's why also when we organize those events in each nation, one of the struggling points is really dealing the government. They say, my prime minister have to be honored first. My prime minister have to go first. My prime minister have to stand these positions, have to sit this position. Everything, there is the protocol. So even Trumada are there as the mother of peace, but always there was the difficult things. So heavenly protocol and the local protocol, right? If Trumada come to your nation, can you ignore your national protocol? You cannot ignore, right? This was also one of the difficulty. But when we see this time event, those head of states attended the World Summit, even the Rally of Hope time, February 13, they are the ones who came to champion. So Prime Minister Hun Sen, they came to the World Stadium, right? And Honorable Pence and Pompeo or Pan Ki-moon, top leader of UN, or all people gathered together under the guidance of champion. And when Trumada appeared in champion, what's happened? You could see this beautiful photo. Mother is the center of all head of states, and everyone kind of following the Trumada, right? I'm not sure what kind of nation can do like this, but in that area, totally all people is under the 100% dominion of Trumada. That's why 2020, actually Mother proclaimed also the firm establishment of Cheonilguk. Sometimes we say, where is nation? Where we can see the substantial Cheonilguk. But when we see the champion, that place, Mother, which True Mother proclaimed, already that area, even head of states, even any leader, everyone have to follow the 100% guidance of True Mother, whoever they are. That's why we could see these special things. This protocol is centering on the heavenly protocol and heavenly parents and true parents. And even opening music, you know what kind of music was played? That time, the Cheonilguk anthem was played, right? Already the national anthem, already mentioned, this is national anthem. Then Cheonilguk anthem was played. So already that environment is under the Cheonilguk. So this time, because of COVID, many people could not come substantially, but actually many more current head of states are decided and to come to Korea that time. So if there is no restriction of COVID, surely more current head of states come to champion substantially. So when we see this situation, what kind of things we can imagine? Trumada mentioned the next target is May 2023. What will be happen on that time? That time will be the opening ceremony of Cheonongun. So Cheonongun is kind of the Cheonilguk government building and governance of this universe. This will be open and the Cheonil Sonjong, Cheonil Sanctium will be opened also. So Cheonil Sanctium is the center of the religion or spiritual side, and the Cheonongun is the center of the governance of this universe. So when True Mother will prepare the opening ceremony, Mother will surely call again those head of states. So if substantially this head of states, more than 30 current head of states or 50 current head of states come together to Cheonongun opening and to do opening ceremony under the True Mother's guidance, more bigger scale of this time World Summit. What's happened? Already this become the world news to discuss how to create peace, discuss how to unify between North and South Korea, how to solve with unity and solve the problem of the world problem. So those situations, those moments will come soon, and True Mother decide, now let's go to North Korea. For example, sometime in same time, gathering together to all people come together immediately from champion to North Korea. How really inspiring or exciting that moment. So those moments will come soon when we imagine these things already exciting. So already the top leader of America or come together, or democratic world come together. That's why just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, who imagined that those people follow and accept True Mother, even the top leader of America or several nations. So we could see already heaven's time is coming. So our concept should be changed, and we have to prepare also the strategy. Our Oceania, how many nations do we have? We have 14 nations. How we can guide, support, and lead those head of states to connect our heavenly parents and true parents. So in each nation, in Australia case, how we can reach to the head of states, how to guide and how to really invite those persons to True Mother, right? And also New Zealand case, already you are connecting, communicating, and another several nations. We really think seriously our preparation and our strategy and our way, physical side and the spiritual side together. Already era was changed. Maybe my nation is difficult. My nation is maybe different with Cambodia, different with Nepal. But you can see already America were connected. Already Japan were connected, those leaders. And now Mother approach to China and Russia. Then how about another nation? Surely there is the way and there is the will. And if Mother will organize opening ceremony 2023, Mother didn't say who she will invite, but we can guess, right? Surely Mother organized opening ceremony in Cheonwon-gun, or if Mother organized the summit in North Korea, who we can invite, who are ready to go to that calling. This situation doesn't happen immediately. Mother called now to go to North Korea together. But if we are not ready now, or if we are not preparing now, even last minute or 1 month before the event announced, we cannot follow that. We cannot connect our nation to Mother. So really, we have to break through our leaders, our brothers and sisters, how we can find a way to connect with Mother, connect with world providence. So we could see one by one, the way was opening, opportunity, and those situation was happening. So this on ourselves. If we don't do, even heaven are waiting, Mother is opening, but this nation, this state is not connecting with heaven's will and also through parents. That's why we have to think more bigger vision. And finally, this way is to supporting the world, and this way is the living for the world. So once again, through our World Summit, we can learn and reflect many things in the same time, how we can live, how our nation can live for the world. This is our key point. So really, let's prepare again and really connect with our heavenly parents and true parents. So thank you very much always. Today also global unity through true parents. Now we are reading about Mother's anthology, and the last time Mother shared about the story of first meeting with true father. So that moment was True Mother's 14 years old time. So that time also True Mother see the dream and to meet the true father and pray sincerely to God and heavenly parents. So when we reflect ourselves, sometimes we face the challenging or difficulty, struggling matter. If something happened to me, what was our first reaction? Immediately decide and do something, or we will seek God's guidance, God's wisdom or not. True Mother case, immediately just ask God, find God's hope, God's message, God's guidance, and to decide what she will do. So, and this asking God meaning is not just to rely on God, not try to receive something from God. Try to mother, try to comfort God, to go together with God and attend God. This heart was there, even True Mother was 14 or 17 years younger time period. So through Mother's sharing, we can learn the attitude toward our heavenly parents. So always pray and ask and really entrusted the decision to our God and our heavenly parents. So let's read this part. Holy wedding and a new dissolution. Through heaven created an environment where he could send the Messiah of the second coming through righteous people. Christianity did not know about this providence. Nonetheless, April 11, 1960 is the day on which the only begotten Son and only begotten daughter, born without original sin, overcame innumerable difficulties and held the marriage supper of the Lamb in accordance with heaven's will. That day became a day of glory for heaven and a day of joy and hope for humanity. So God will create the environment centering on the providence. So what was the starting point of the history and what is the concluding point of the history? This centering person, centering on existence is our heavenly parents and our true parents. That's why when we see the human history, the sending Messiah on this earth or sending true parents on this earth and to divorce all humanity from Satan's lineage to God's lineage. This is the main purpose and the reason of this history of humanity and the guidance of our heavenly parents. That's why God continuously guide the people, prepare the people, and welcome at the moment. So Christianity suffered a lot and to open the way because to love and sacrifice and receive a lot of love from God. When they could not fulfill their responsibility, they will receive more challenging and more trial and more indemnity. So even under those opposition or trial, finally God guided true father and true mother to meet each other and to proclaim the holy wedding ceremony of true parents. So this was the first event in the history. Our true parents stood and to receive blessing, begin the history of blessing. So this is also the new start of our all human beings. So when I was 16 years old, I received God's sermons and immediately made a decision. If I do not do this, the wearisome providential history of restoration through indemnity, which is full of bitter pain, will not end. Thus, I resolved to succeed without fail. That was 1960, the year of true parents' holy wedding. So true mother realized what was the true heaven's providence promised with God and determined to go this way. When we see our lives, do you have this kind of special moment which you promised with God something, determined with God in some time period in your life? So how was that determination? How was that promise? Still continue or already end the promise, or we will continue again? So environment is always changing in our environment or surrounding ourselves. But how about our determination, promise, and commitment with God, with our heavenly parents, and with true parents? If we hold the determination with unchanging heart, unchanging commitment, then environment itself will be changing, which we saw through mother's initiative. That's why mother also sharing, mother already promised, determined with God early moment, and continuously mother is going these ways. So we could really see that. You learned this in your lectures, isn't that right? You have probably heard about True Mother's 7-year course in the principle. This 7-year course was my path to prepare foundation of victory, by which the 6,000-year providential history that Eve had lost could be restored through indemnity. If I had been unable to complete this, God's day could not have been established. No one can replace True Mother's history. Therefore, I took initiative and set an example by fulfilling what I had to do providentially. So, Mother is sharing about the 7-year course. Maybe we heard many times about True Mother's 7-year course through Father's message, right? True Mother mentioned that. True Mother true father mentioned that true mother have to go through 7-year course and finally overcame and success. Maybe we heard from true father's message, but how much do we hear from true mother's point of view? So mother is explaining and mentioned that 7 years course. This itself, who is the one who should overcome and success? Even heaven can guide, even true father can guide, but finally true mother have to overcome and have to fulfill her responsibility of 7-year course. Even how much true father invest and pray, even how much heavenly parents invest and protect and guide true mother. But if true mother did not take responsible and did not accept or could not overcome, that meaning is this day, the 7-year course, God's day, all providence of true parents will be failed. That's why not only father side, true mother as the mother of peace, her responsibility and her role and the providential meaning of true mother is also same meaning with true father. That's why how true mother also faced a lot of challenging and trial responsibility, and how much true mother also overcame a lot until coming this stage. So we could see this investment and foundation. Do you know the foundation day was on the 13th day of the first month by the heavenly calendar in 2013. As we already had God's day, why did we establish foundation day on the 13th? 13 is an important number in the story of God's creation of the world. The Bible starts out by saying, there was evening and there was morning. In providential history, there is creation on the 12th and the day of rest of the 13th. So 13 is an important number. Searching for the lost number 13 is part of true parents' providential history. Because of this, I born 14 children, going beyond the number 13. In the ages of history, especially in Old Testament providential history, many numbers appear. As a true mother, I united these numbers. I made them into one. This is one of my greatest achievements as true mother. So when we see the history, also same, and the responsibility, physical responsibility, also same. Mother has a responsibility, have to give birth more than 12 children, and mother finally fulfilled. So that's why, as I also share about this, father's life is not only for father's life. Mother's life is also not only for the mother's life. They are, as a true parents, their life is also for our heavenly parents and for whole human beings. So when we see that true mother's life course, she didn't share detailed situation. When we see the father's course, do you see how many books we have? So many books which true father explained from early time and the student time in North Korea, South Korea, Japan, or all history was there. But how about true mother's life course, internal trial, challenging and overcome? Of course, father and mother was going together after holding wedding ceremony, but internal trial, internal challenging and overcoming, true mother didn't share everything, but surely there was many kind of story. That's why reading the mother's memoir and also reading those true mother's anthology, this is also the way to understand mother's challenging heart and realization. So we should learn from true father and true mother. And we have to become the true father and true mother. And we have to guide our children also to be true father and true mother and true family, true children also. So really through true mother's message, we can learn the many new things. So next I want to share the Cheonsongyeong word. So Trumada's anthology and the Chonsongyong word, nature, of course, little bit different, but the key point and centering point is the same essence. So this Chonsongyong word, now Trufada is mentioning about the God's nature, especially God is the one who take responsible all things which he created by himself. That's why when he created the law, God cannot break his law or his principle. So we could see that God's will is eternal and absolute, but fulfillment of God's will is not absolute. So when we see the God's providence, we could see that. So our human beings, in order to restore our human beings, God continuously guided and teaching and leading our lives. But the final fulfillment of our human beings or responsibility is also should be ourselves. Father guided Trumada. Heavenly parents also guided Trumada, but Trumada have to overcome by own responsibility. So God is also guiding us, teaching us, showing the way, but who have to take responsible and who have to overcome everything. Finally, we have to overcome, we have to realize, and we have to go this way together with our heavenly parents. So let's see the next part. Christianity described God as the omniscient and omnipotent Father, but his omniscience and omnipotence do not function apart from a basic principle. God does not act arbitrarily. The law established by the eternal God is eternal. The fact that he is the one who established it does not justify his being arbitrarily and changing it. So even God is omniscient and omnipotent, but beyond the law, beyond the principle, God cannot be the omniscient and omnipotent. He has to follow the principle which God created by himself. So we could see this one. So this is the last slide today. Christian ministers may think the omniscient and omnipotent God with the power of creation can do whatever he wants even now, but that is far from the truth. All things existing in heaven and on earth operate by the fundamental law, the principle. Even God cannot act in violation of his law. Even the president of a nation has to respect the constitution and the law the legislature passes according to it. Since God is the being who is absolute, unique, unchanging, and eternal, his law is also absolute, unique, unchanging, and eternal. He needs a partner who conforms to this law. For him, this is the highest necessity. He needs a partner who, representing the world, abides by the law and liberates the people. So even God cannot act in violation of his law. So what meaning is this? Maybe I can give some example. There is a prime minister in this nation, Australia, right? So Australian prime minister decide our driving law in Australia. All people who has a driver license have to drive the car left side, right? Left road. So once this principle, this law was established, even by the government, do you think government can ignore this law? Today, I don't like to follow the left side. Maybe I want to drive the right side. A red light, I'm so much struggling to wait the time of the red light, red traffic light. I don't want to follow the red light. What's happened? This become the problem. Once the law was proclaimed or established, even prime minister, even any kind of person cannot ignore the law. And if someone ignore this law, that person will be accused even prime minister, or even government, or even top leaders. That's why the God's principle also same. Once God proclaimed and announced, even God have to follow. And if God try to do something beyond the law, Satan will always accuse. God said, you have to love the people. You have to you created the archangel by love. So you have to love. This is your law. Why you try to accuse Satan? Why try to accuse me? You created me as your object partner of love. So you have to love, even I don't love you. So those situations is happening. That's why God and Father is mentioning God is also have to live under the law. So someone who can stand the subject position absolutely under the law, those persons have to appear. If that person appear, then can restore everything centering on God's principle and God's law. That's why in order to success, in order to really fulfill the God's will, we have to also understand what is actually the principle of this universe. This, if without knowing how we can follow and how we can success and overcome. That's why God and Father is continuously educating and sharing about God, teaching the principle, teaching the way, how we should live, how we should restore, and how we should create the new world together with God. So every moment we are learning through Mother's message and also the Father's message. Today and each single moment, there is God's plan and God's hope. And we are the way who will really stand together with True Mother. So let's put our Johnson and let's put our heart and let's find the message, even one message of God today through 24 hours, even one sentence, even one message. If I can realize, if we can realize the message from God, then today become the special moment. So let's put our Johnson and heart and find the heart and let's create this great world together with Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Thank you for joining this morning. Let's have a great time. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you, Reverend Yutaka, for sharing with us and yeah, helping make the principle clear and make the heart of God clear. The thing that struck and stood out for me the most was that no one can replace True Mother's history. And I was just reflecting on that, because you were reading and mentioning that Christianity did not know about this providence, and that was particularly talking about the Messiah of the second coming. Christianity did not know clearly how the second coming was going to happen, waiting for the clouds, but actually was born in Korea. And then when I'm reflecting about the fact that no one can replace True Mother's history, I was thinking about, well, how much do we unificationists know about the providence of True Mother? In the beginning, we were just thinking True Father the entire time. True Mother's there, and people had experiences with True Mother, but it wasn't brought to the forefront. It wasn't equal standing as True Father's mission. Christianity is just focused on one, and that teaching of being focused on one, even though many of us are all mixed backgrounds in our faith. Some are Christian, some are not, some didn't believe in anything, but still the whole focus was on that one individual, and not really thinking of the fact that it's parents, that God has dual aspects of male and female, and that and we can't replace True Mother's history. She made that victory, and I find it very significant, that statement that Mother combined all the numbers, fulfilled the numbers, because to me the numbers is also a vital thing in the process of restoration. When everything is aligned correctly, then everything becomes one. So I was just reflecting on that and realizing that this is the heart of God, and this is actually the primary law of the principle is the true parents. And when I also reflected on the fact that God is love, but God is also law, and this idea that people have that once something is established, we can change it. We can be above the law, or we can break it. We don't have to follow it. But the thing is once the numbers are aligned and you are one, there is no way that there is any separation between the law or the action, because of the fact that this is a resultant world. Everything that here is here. It's not an idea or a concept or a possibility or some sort of statistic. We're actually here. And because we're actually here, we can't change that. And so we automatically are following laws of growth and laws of love, whether we appreciate them or understand them or fully apply them. But when I think about this, really, I want to get to that point, where Father, and you read that we need a partner to follow, and that is actually our purpose of creation, I believe, is to unite with God, which is to become a body that emulates everything that God created. And so I was just thinking about, and then like I said, the main one is that no one can replace their true mother's history, and that we need to really explain that and understand that deeply. So those are some of my thoughts today. So thank you, everyone. And we've got a couple of people with their hands up. First Doug, and then Chris. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Reverend Yotaka was saying this morning, 2 years ago, who could have imagined such a turnout as this? So I just wanted to share, and after what you just said on numbers, John, there are three really significant turning points, development points in American history, and that's 1815, on the 40th year after the Revolutionary War. We finally settled with Britain, and at the Treaty of Ghent became a nation. 1915, after another 40-year period of development, we entered into the world stage with World War I. In 2015, something very significant happened as well, a real turning point in America, based on the 40 years of fathers' declarations in 1976. That was like really an amazing thing. 40 years after 2015, this appeared. It's called The Power of Prayer in America's Future in the Washington Times. America, a nation conceived in liberty and justice, was built on the foundation of, and this whole story was laid out by George Augustus Stallings, inside the Washington Times. It was an appeal to America for prayer, to find our way at this time. And it's a dramatic speech. You can find it. It's written December 30th of 1915. That was the seed that I believe fundamentally changed the direction of America right then and there. That declaration. So 1815, 1915, 2015. So this prayer was answered by Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson, who had been a journalist for the Washington Times after he retired as a pediatric neurosurgeon with 60 doctorates given to him from universities around the world. So he's a pretty qualified guy. he decided to become a journalist for the Washington Times. So this prayer was answered by Ben Carson when putting his name in for running as the Republican candidate for the presidency. So I had really been behind that. I really hoped for it and prayed for that since 2014. From there is where the voice of the prophet was heard by America, and especially the future president, Donald Trump. Well, when they met, they became friends. When the narrators of a debate on public television orchestrated an embarrassing moment for Ben Carson, clearly to embarrass him on public stage, when the sound system did not work for him or to hear his call and the way they treated him at the debate podium, that was the moment that Trump and Carson came together. Later, the network apologized, but they weren't sincere. They publicized the scandal and their view of it all throughout the world. But the damage was already done and was used to mock him on late night comedy shows. The miracle was that Carson and Trump had dinners together and got to know and understand each other. That was the beginning of what has unfolded in the past 7 years. So soon after that, Ben Carson realized, soon after that, as a candidate, he realized that Trump was God's choice to lead and not himself. So he announced 1 week after leaving the Republican primary that he will endorse and work for the election of Donald Trump to be the president of the United States. That took me completely by surprise at that moment, because I believed I wanted Ben Carson just there because I could trust him to make the debates worthy. Our presidential debates had become completely unworthy of public listening to. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. So the voice of God, a prophet, sort of like in the position of Ben Carson, revolutionizes presidential politics he openly spoke about the existence of the devil and evil principalities, and he made him current to the political providence that was unfolding in America. This was absolutely really a change, that and along with many other things he said. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that since that period of time, we've also seen a division inside of our church on a deeper level, especially between the Sanctuary Church and FFWP. So that's disunited, but there's one thing that we were united on over the past 7 years. So who could have imagined what's happening? Between the two sides of Sanctuary Church and FFWP, Sanctuary Church had no imagination, but they were united in the idea of Trump speaking truth to power. Whereas the FFWP members, without being told by their leadership who to vote for one way or the other, a large number of members, at least 10%, and then 20%, and then 30%, began to understand what Donald Trump was actually doing. And there was a lot of talk about, prayer for Trump to meet True Mother. And so much of these prayers have been answered, It came from the grassroots membership. People, who maintain friendships with the Sanctuary Church, even though there was a terrible, terrible divide that's got to be settled, can only be solved by True Mother's love. But the fact is, there were people that tried to say these things, but no one would give it any thought. It was unspoken, it was kind of a volatile situation. But what has unfolded is based on that development, and if you really look at the intricate history of what took place, there was a tremendous battle that ensued 7 years ago between, the secular side of the world, and their solutions, and God's side of the world. But my last thing I'll say is that in 2016, on the stage where True Father raised us up in the grand ballroom, to overcome communist, ideologies, that is the place where Hillary Clinton actually surrendered her presidential campaign, on that very dais, inside the grand ballroom of the World Mission Center. And wearing purple that day, she came up and she was basically beginning to lead a resistance movement, because the following day, some of our members invited the Democrats to meet and to develop a resistance strategy to Donald Trump, So both good and bad happened inside the grand ballroom. And that is history, you know. She surrendered one day. And then the following day, we also opened the doors to that same room to help the Democrats actually gather together and form a resistance to Donald Trump. So we've had that for 7 years. Anyway, that's all I'll say right now. It's a long story. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, morning, guys. Just something that I just received this morning, inspiration from words. One that the gravity of the decisions that both father and mother had to make at 16 years old. I hadn't really thought about mother actually making that life-changing decision. We just thought she went along with everything, but you know, the parallels were there, are interesting. And then spiritually, I just received, like, I can't take too long, but it's very important how we interpret the principle. And I remember when we found out that there could have been a better way for Moses to go rather than kill the Egyptian. And after studying the principle, I thought that was set in stone, but it actually wasn't the best course. And that really challenged my faith. And so a little inspiration came to me this morning about True Father's course in marrying and all those things that happened, and of course the providential preparation for mother really being the best person for father to marry and all that. But the inspiration was that if father had have written that into the principle that I, as a special person in history, must meet another special person in history, and we must marry, and that's the only way it can be, it would have left very little hope for fallen women to be able to feel that they could, you know, as a principle, be perfected. But father didn't say that. He said, or he could replace, a true person can help any woman to become a true woman. So that's what's been placed into the principle. Rather, you know, father always spoke about what the power of the principle could do. And that's what he was talking about, rather than focus on probably the best situation for him. And that's why when we read in the principle, father saying, I could have married the queen, I could have married this person, I could have raised up any woman to be good. And the inspiration came to me, if you replace that with any true man, can give hope to any fallen woman to become a true person, just like them. Anyway, that was, I haven't had time to really digest these things, but that was just my little inspiration for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. It's actually that time again for us to share our unison prayer together. So I'll just bring it up and let's pray together. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and see you tomorrow.
See you.